Hello everybody, I'm Pete O'Farrell. Hope everybody's summer is off to a fantastic start.
And I'm Jessica Kurgo. This is Walpole News Today, and we're reporting to you this month from Walpole's beautiful Bird Park, while the Walpole Media Studio undergoes some exciting transformations. History was made in Walpole this year as the town announced in early June that it had at last achieved a AAA Bond Rating from the S&P Global Ratings.
This is the first time in the town's history they had achieved that rating, and it is the highest credit rating that a municipal government can receive.
Walpole Media's Tamara Green spoke with Town Administrator Jim Johnson for more information about what the AAA rating means for Walpole.
Can you first start by telling us what a municipal credit rating is?
So municipal credit rating helps us each year when we go out to borrow a specific item. For example, this year it was $5.9 million we borrowed for a few different water projects. They go out and rate you and say basically how stable you are. They looked at management of the town, 5-year forecasting, fiscal policies in place, and they determine what type of interest rate and how reliable you are. So for the past almost 20 years now, we've been trying to get over the hump, to get to that AAA bond rating. And I was really optimistic that we would get there, and we've been trying for a long time. So fortunately this year they were happy with they've been historically happy with the town's finances, with the stabilization funds set aside, the town's free cash, the management of the town. But we were able to get over the hump this year by having a few more policies in place in regards to the financial planning of the town. And we implemented a new 5-year forecasting tool, so that really got us to where we need to be. And I'm really happy to report that we're finally there. We were able to get a 3.72% interest rate on this borrowing, and this not only will help this year's borrowing, but in the future when we go out to borrow for the final middle school funds and the high school project. So.
What's the difference between a AA and a AAA? Just the credit rating?
Just more or less the credit rating and also the interest rate that you're likely going to get back. I actually asked them to run some numbers for us, our credit rating agency, and I said, how much specifically did we save by having compared to a AA to a AAA? They estimate on this borrowing we saved about $60,000. Not only will that help us going forward with future borrowings, the larger the borrowing, the more you're going to save. So, for example, the high school project, we estimate that we're going to go out for a $25 million borrowing. So we will save hundreds of thousands on that one just by getting that increased rating there. Walpole has gone from 20,000 people, we're up to 26,000 people in probably about 20-25 years. We continue to grow. The more growth we have in town, the more we continue to build upon that. We haven't passed an operating override since 2012. I'm really proud that we've been able to sustain that. So they look at that. They also look at how much money do you have in the bank? How much money do you have in your stabilization accounts? We've also formed the capital stabilization account that set aside some money for the infrastructure projects we need. What's your free cash number? We've been able to increase the free cash number year over year because we're just mindful of how we manage that, how we conservatively estimate our local receipts that come in. And it all goes down to not only the financial management, but also the elected and appointed leaders who are in place.
Walpole's zoning bylaws are due for an update according to town officials. Last month, the Select Board approved the formation of a zoning bylaw review steering committee to guide the process of reorganization and refurbishing the town's zoning bylaws.
The town also secured grant funding from the state to support the zoning recodification process. Here's what town officials had to say about the process at the June 3rd Select Board meeting.
Worked with town council as our consultant, or as our legal consultant rather, to begin the process. As part of that, there needs to be some sort of local guidance when we work through town council to bring forward recommendations for changes. And so a steering committee was the best approach. This committee would really meet periodically when there's work available for them to review. First phase really begins with that audit and looking at that, not as exciting, changes with inconsistency, removing outdated language of the like. And then what we would hopefully begin to do, ideally by, winter or the fall, is start to look into subject matter section by section. The primary goal really is recodification and revision, and so that information is paramount first of all. But we do want to take a look at section by section as well, and just look to address, make sure it's consistent with state law as well.
And so what I'd ask is periodically, and you guys can figure out what periodically means, but someone, perhaps the whole steering group, would come to us and give us a sense of, okay, here are the things that we're dealing with, here's the progress we've made, here are the recommendations that we're going to bring forth, and of course if there's any help that you need from us, that you'd let us know.
Participation in local elections tends to increase during a presidential election year. That was the case for Walpole's 2024 annual town election, which saw a voter turnout of 11% compared to the last town election's voter turnout of 9%.
The 2% increase pleasantly surprised town officials, giving the election's heavily uncontested ballot. Town Clerk Elizabeth Gaffey provided a recap following the election to the Select Board.
The volume of it we had was vote by mail, which is why I said, it wasn't really a turnout for in person, but vote by mail was huge, which is nice. I never asked to opt out of that, so, and that's why. So it did turn out to be what it is for a pretty much uncontested ballot. So I'm glad that people did vote by mail.
Yeah, it was interesting that the vote by mail actually outnumbered the walk-in on the day of vote by, 1,200 to 800, something like that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Was the 8 to 5 that was new for us this year? We've done it a few times in the past. Do you feel like it was still too long of a time frame based on this new kind of model of vote by mail being a more popular choice?
Especially in a presidential year where the state sends out the vote by mail applications. Would I have gotten 3,500 applications to vote by mail if it wasn't a presidential year? No. I probably would have got at the most 200. So what I like about it is the data that we get, that we now know if you do spoon feed them, we do get them back. Not half, but it was better than what it was. And you also have to remember, it was a pretty uncontested ballot. Maybe if it was contested, I would have got quite a few more back, which is why I believe we did reduce the hours too. But for an uncontested one and vote by mail, yeah, you can shorten it because people are sending it back. And the mail seemed to work out pretty good.
The long-anticipated demolition of the Byrd Middle School has finally begun, but not without one final goodbye from the community.
That's right. On June 14th, former students and their families flooded the halls of the former middle school to bid their last farewell to the building. Walpole Media was there to hear from attendees about their memories from within the 63-year-old building.
I think my favorite memory was actually first coming here because the students were very welcoming and they were very kind to me because I came here mid-year and they were so accepting and welcoming, and I just really appreciate that.
I was here from the 5th grade to the 9th grade. I also taught here for 4 years, so this is very bittersweet to walk through. It looks the same, but it doesn't look the same.
Some of the classrooms here meant different things.
I was here, I think, 89 to 93, and just walking through and remembering the teachers and the classmates and some of the funny things that happened in the class that, and you think, where are these people now? Where are these teachers? And some of the teachers that were amazing. And, they were such a huge part of your life for this brief period of time. And then you lose touch and you never know, where they are. They're probably retired now, but it would be lovely to say hi to them,
Yeah, it's a big part of your adolescence before you then, go into high school. And yeah, fun. It's like a throwback, like coming in and seeing some of the stuff. But we both commented coming into the gym that it smells the same. It does. It hasn't changed. It's but it's a fond memory. I say that thinking it's a fond memory.
I was in the very first class when the school just opened, brand new, even new smelling. Where it's not been around forever, but we did have these lockers.
Although I'm really looking forward and so excited to this new middle school, I think having been in Byrd as a student and then also as a teacher and administrator, I think it's the people I'll miss the most. It's really the people that made the building and all of the memories.
5 colorful ducks have waddled their way into Walpole to join in the town's 300th anniversary celebration. The 5 duck statues were painted by Walpole High School students. I walked around the corner one day and there's these 5 huge unpainted ducks sitting there. So it was very exciting to watch the kids paint them. And they're now located north, south, east, and west Walpole, as well as the town common.
Sponsored by the Recreation Department and the 300th Anniversary Committee, Walpole's Summer Duck Adventure invites residents to visit and take photos with each of the 5 ducks and submit a vote for their favorite. The duck with the most votes by the end of August will be featured on its very own float in the Walpole 300th Anniversary Parade. Submitted photos will be included in the town's montage to be left in the 300th Anniversary time capsule.
So why the ducks? I've seen people on Facebook and stuff asking, like, what is the significance of the ducks? You found out.
Yes, the 300th Anniversary website has an answer. It says, Walpole is abundant with ponds and waterways and has a rich history of factories and mills which resided along the Neponset River and other water spaces. Ducks go further back in our town's history to the village fair, where we all enjoyed fishing for wooden ducks and getting a prize. More recently, the ducks have taken center stage at Walpole Day for the Duck Race fundraising event. So with that being said, be sure to check out all the ducks and take a quick photo and go ahead and cast your vote for your favorite duck on the 300th Anniversary Committee's website. And that is walpole300.com.
Walpole celebrated its first ever Pride event on Friday, June 28th, sponsored by the local nonprofit Be Inclusive.
In addition to providing an inclusive space to celebrate the LGBTQ+ community, the event also aimed to educate attendees about the pivotal 1969 Stonewall Uprising in New York City. Here's more from Walpole Media's coverage of the event.
It started off as an idea we wanted to center it around community and queerness for anyone in the community, whether queer or not, a part of the community or not, to kind of engage. So what we did is we painted a door in the flag of the Progress flag, and then people can come over to our table and we have a set of prompts for them to answer. They can write it on little pieces of origami paper, and then we'll teach them how to fold it into butterflies or hearts, and then they get to paste it on the door wherever they want to. Kind of community-based art piece. They can answer the prompts however they want, whatever resonates with them. The prompts are like, what does queerness mean to you? If you have a coming out story you'd like to share, please write that here. Because coming out can be a very volatile thing for people, and I think it's an important thing to talk about. I grew up in this town and came out in this town, and you know, for me it wasn't the best experience. I didn't get to come out as trans until college when I felt safe enough to do so. And I think it's important to like kind of bring that energy back and be like, yeah, there are so many queer and trans people in Walpole, and there are so many people that are allies. Let's foster a more inclusive community. So, and let's change it for the better so that little queer and trans kids like me growing up here feel more welcome, feel more validated and seen.
It is more important now than ever to remind folks of all ages, all identities, that you matter, and you being here is much better than you being not here or not in a happy emotional place. And yeah, just a celebration of individuality and self-expression and love.
Hundreds of people from Walpole and surrounding towns showed up for Walpole's 64th annual Fire Truck Parade and Night Before the 4th fireworks on Stonefield.
As always, the event kicked off with a blaring motorcade of local fire trucks, both new and antique. I knew I was late to get to my folks' house for a barbecue when I heard the sirens going off, followed by an amazing fireworks display. Walpole always has amazing fireworks, but this year it was unbelievable. The 300th Anniversary Committee stepped in to help make this long-standing and beloved community tradition particularly memorable to the town. Filling in for downtown Rick Brown, we'll do our best. We thought we needed to tell you, though, it was an amazing sports season at Walpole High School. 4 Walpole High sports teams made it to the finals, concluding a remarkably successful season.
That's right, it was a banner year for the boys track and field team, who won the 2024 Division III state championship, following the cross-country team's championship in the fall and the indoor track title in the winter.
The girls lacrosse team had a dominant run through the postseason, including a 20-8 victory in the semifinals against East Longmeadow before playing two-time defending champions Notre Dame Academy in the finals. Walpole was able to tie it in the third quarter before Notre Dame ultimately pulled ahead and won 14-10.
The top-seeded baseball team defeated Westwood and Milford en route to its appearance in the championship game at Polar Park in Worcester against Plymouth North. Walpole fell behind early and was unable to overcome strong pitching and defense from Plymouth and lost the game with a score of 9-2. Despite the disappointing ending, ace pitcher Alex He received a strong ovation from fans and his coaches and teammates after an outstanding season.
And last but not least, the Walpole High softball team won its first ever state championship against Westfield in a 1-0 game at UMass Amherst. This concluded an amazing postseason run for Charlotte Stasinski, who pitched 5 straight complete shutouts and recorded 53 strikeouts.
Thank you for joining us for today's special outdoor edition of Walpole News Today. If you found this story helpful, please feel free to like it and share it, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We hope to see everybody for our next episode from inside our new and improved amazing television studio, which I have to get back to right now to keep working on. So for everybody here at Walpole News Today, I'm Pete O'Farrell.
And I'm Jessica Kurgo.
And now we're going to go walk around Bird Park.
Beautiful day.